And do you see us at all on your screen? Okay.
I see Leah.
Okay, I see Leah. Okay. And let's see. So that's Leah. But then Leah left. So Leah got in, so she must have clicked the link.
I'm letting her know that we saw her.
Okay. Hey, Leah. Leah, are you muted?
I see y'all.
Everybody sees this, guys. You know what this is. It's a Google Hangout. And what are we doing? Experiencing technical difficulties as usual. But bear with us. It's still going to be fun. This is what happens when things are live. So I've got Dennis on the line, and this is Kavito Clark. He's on Twitter and Instagram all under the same name.
Hola.
And we are, when we say we're live, guys, we are really, really live. We are in the Black Enterprise offices in our cushy little cubicles here. And Dennis is still on the line, and it looks like we might have just lost Leah, but you guys bear with us for only 3 minutes in. So, you know, get yourself some popcorn and some drinks, and you guys will be good to go. Dennis, how's it going on your end? You see me? Okay.
Somebody.
So
Okay.
Yeah, we have sound.
we have sound. Oh, great. Okay.
It's Leah.
Hey, Leah. So I've got Dennis on the line
Why can't I see Dennis and Numa?
because Dennis isn't in yet.
And okay, is this what everyone is seeing?
Hold on one second, Dennis. Where is that? So you guys, today we're going to talk to the founders and creators of Black and Sexy TV about how they expanded their brand, some of the ways they grew their web audience, and most importantly, how they monetize that web audience. If you want to tweet us at Black Enterprise right now with the hashtag BESocial and Black and Sexy TV, send us your questions so we make sure we can fit those in. If you have a web series or you're an aspiring filmmaker, director, or even an actor, let us know what you'd like to know about how to monetize, how to get started, and things of that nature. So send those in. We're still working out some technical difficulties. No worries. This is our third one. This is their first. It's going to still go awesome. So give us a moment. We'll be with you guys in a minute.
Thank you, Leah. Do you want this background, Numa, or are you good?
They're there. Yay. Yay.
Hey guys, look.
Here we are. All
Okay,
right.
Hey.
everybody sees me. Wave, everybody. There's everybody.
All right, hold on. We got to do a couple postings.
Look at you. Are you posting, Numa?
We got to let everyone on Instagram know we're here.
Oh, great. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to have you. We've got Leah's gone already. See, that's the good thing about a Google Hangout. Everything's live. We pull people in from everywhere. We're just going to chat and have a good time. So, guys, tell us a little bit about Black and Sexy TV. Look at you guys.
Hey,
We got to post.
we had a private moment.
Hold
Sorry.
on. I'm letting. Hold on. All right, Tina.
Media, social media.
So hi.
Hi.
Yes, we're here.
I'm saying this to you, Tina.
Is that Leah right there? Hey, Leah.
That's Leah.
Our first Google Hangout. It was like a party.
It really is. It really is like a party.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet
I didn't meet
you.
you Kevin in New York.
All right, I just texted to you. All right.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna let Kevin do the introduction because he wrote the piece about you that is on Black Enterprise right now. So, Kevin, why don't you give us a quick introduction about our guest today, and also let us know how you discovered Black and Sexy TV.
These two are one of the most prolific purveyors of creative, original content that you can kind of see on YouTube. How I came across finding them was a little movie called A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy on Netflix.
Cool.
And they took my heart from there, and I wanted to share that with the rest of the world. So just to give you guys a chance to speak for yourselves, how did you guys originally come up with the concept of Black and Sexy? And what were your original intentions when you first started developing content?
The concept, or the title, "Good Day, Black and Sexy," kind of predated me knowing Numa. I guess I had a short film at Slam Dance, and they asked me, "What's your next film?" As a joke, I just said, "A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy. Let's turn our phones off." And it just sounded like something, that I just wanted to hear, and it sound was in your face. It was definitely, very affirmative. And I think for the most part, I didn't know what the film was going to be until it came time to make a film. And then I said, what is the perfect title? And for me, it just sort of made that sense. That's sort of an update to Black is Beautiful. So from then on, I guess we released the film through Magnolia. We just started making content online that, it was something about our release that it wasn't under our control. We didn't have the same agenda as the distributor. They had their thing, their machine. We thought other things were going to happen. So as a response, we started making content online to support the DVD release. It was going to come out, in a few months. And in doing that, we felt a little power. And we said, wow, it would be great to be able to go direct to audience and don't have to worry about a distributor going through all that stuff, seeing what they're going to do. We just do what we do. And at that time, it was 2008, 2009. And social media was starting to, rise, MySpace, Friendster, Facebook. So we decided to just kind of pursue this Black and Sexy TV thing. And I think Numa probably has an addition to that story.
Yes.
You always do.
No, that's it. It's Black and Sexy the film. There was this audience for it, and we started to be able to hear their voices because of social media. People started, talking about wanting more. What else are we going to do? And as Dennis said, to promote really the sales of the DVD is where the kind of experimentation online started. And from that we moved into doing skits and just, you just keep flexing that creative muscle, seeing what's funny, seeing what lands on people, and starting to kind of assemble more of a creative team. And that was the very, very, very early days of Black and Sexy TV, but we could start to see it from then, what it could possibly turn into. So we just started working towards that.
So, what were the company's kind of first year struggles and successes? Like, what were certain things that you guys put on the chalkboard wall, or that you put on your vision board?
Whiteboard.
Yeah, like that was like rewarding your success, and what were some obstacles that you overcame?
I mean, we could speak to different obstacles. I think in the first year, it's really staying very steadfast to what your vision is, because no one else can see it but you. And maybe your partners also see a similar vision, but you're all kind of feeling your way through darkness, especially because to us it hadn't really been done before what we're trying to do. So really knowing that what you see is real and possible, and no matter what confusion anyone else brought to you, just staying with that and being patient and knowing that if you just keep going, it'll start becoming apparent to others as well.
Yeah, I think a large part of it too is really just being consistent. For us, it's like a lot of people do a web series or a movie or any kind of content, and you're like, I did it, it's done. When you're creating a network, it's over and over and over, creating a pattern, creating a habit of watching, creating an audience. And when you start down that road, you can't disappoint them. So you got to keep going. So it became grueling for the first 2 years, really, of just putting out content every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we would take a break and we'll come back, but it was like there was no income, there was no like real plan of like what was going to happen or how we're going to do this. We just knew we were building towards something and building an audience, and we just sort of trust the process, as Numa said. But it was definitely, that was another struggle, was just continuing to keep the faith and other people questioning what you're doing or why you keep doing this when you could be running after other stuff in Hollywood, So I think that pretty much does it.
And Dennis, I know I read somewhere that you always envisioned that Black and Sexy would be a brand, and that you just wanted to continue to push out content. I also read that you wanted to work with Issa Rae, and you wanted to get some distribution with major networks, and how you guys just basically kind of put that out there in the atmosphere. And then there was an email, and there was a Facebook message. You walked into a restaurant and you saw Issa. So can you just talk a little bit about just doing the work and putting things out in the atmosphere and how those things actually materialize for you guys?
Yeah, probably add a sequence a little bit. I'm like, well, I said all that? Okay. For the most part, I think initially, in the early stages that we were just talking about, Awkward Black Girl was starting to take off. Maybe she was on episode 3, but we didn't really know what was going to be until episode 4 or 5, And so we were doing our own website, and then we saw Awkward Black Girl on YouTube, and that's how we were like, oh, there's things happening on YouTube. We had a website, we had technical support, but it was like a nightmare trying to handle that and do content. So that's how we came to YouTube. And so I reached out to Issa myself, and then I didn't hear back.
That blog.
Oh yeah, well, okay, so I reached out to Issa, and then the same day that I reached out on Facebook, we happened to run into her at Earl's Grill, which is a little famous little burger joint here in Crenshaw District. And it was just kind of meant to happen. And then she was like, oh yes, I know your film, Look at That Black and Sexy. She blogged about it. So we had a mutual admiration. And so we just worked together starting from then. And Numa was actually with me at the time. I was a little shy. But anyway, so we just sort of,
yeah, he's leaving a lot of stuff out of the story.
What's he leaving out?
Well, no, just the fun stuff, just like how, we had seen, no, he's not being fun right now. We had seen that, we had seen the blog that Issa wrote. She wrote some kind of blog saying that she hates all Black films, but this is the one Black film she liked, which was a good movie, And we're like, oh, that's crazy, because we really respect what she's doing. We think she's hilarious. Like, we love Awkward Black Girl. Like, it was becoming, even in its 3rd week, like kind of a little weekly thing for us. And so, yeah, Dennis he did reach out to her, and that same day we ran into her, but he did not want to talk to Issa. Like after all of that, we're watching it, and I don't know, were you starstruck? I don't know.
I'm just shocked.
But he did not want to talk to her, and I think it was kind of in the beginning of Issa becoming recognizable, because other people in the restaurant were like, it's Awkward Black Girl, you know. So the show started to definitely take off, and he was like, oh, I don't want to go up to her because everybody's going up to her.
I don't want to be that simp. Hey, can I talk to you?
So Dennis, you emailed her, but you didn't want to actually go up to her and talk to her when you saw her.
I didn't expect it to be here, so I wasn't prepared.
Okay, you just weren't
I'm
prepared.
a shy person, you know. I'm like, hey.
So basically, if I hadn't been there, he wasn't going to say anything to her.
Yeah.
So I had to go up to her and say, hey, Issa. I had to introduce them and remind them, hey, you like his film. We love your web series. You know, why don't you come by the house? She came by like a week later. You know, we ended up talking, and then we found ways to collaborate in those early days that made sense for us. You know, she was looking for more content. We were looking for more exposure. And so it was a really good meeting of two needs. When we had the showroom We Love Her Friends, she had seen it in its early stages and wanted to know if we wanted to put it on her channel. We knew that would be great for us. It would help us grow our audience and recognition of our brand, and it would be great for her because people were asking her, well, what's next after ABG?
And on top of that, before that, we put her in the number too. She was looking for an alternate, you know, like when you're an Awkward Black Girl and it becomes so big, after a while it's like, what's his name? Gary Coleman from Different Strokes. Like, do that thing you do, what you talking about? Well, you know, this became, can I do something different? So Lisa and the number became that sort of, you know, alternate personality that she can, you know, get into and have fun and not have this pressure of like it being Awkward Black Girl. And so that was our real first partnership, I think. And then We Love Her Friends came next. So, and then I guess you were talking about HBO too. It seems like you're talking about. I don't think we had designs to think about like, oh, any of our shows can be on TV, but we weren't actively really looking or doing anything about it. Yeah. So that came just because we made The Couple and put it out there, and it was so successful. If you want to give a little bit more of actually how it. You know. Yeah,
I mean, The Couple. It's funny with The Couple. The Couple was it the first or one of the first ideas that kind of came within our brain trust to be a series, and it came from Janine Daniels, and we had been doing skits with her, and she had been starring in some of the skits, and she had been writing some of the skits. But then she, in one of our meetings that we had, said, oh, I have this idea about this series called The Couple and she just pitched it to us, you know, just in talking really, nothing formal. And before she could even really finish everything she was saying, we were like, we like it, yeah, we're interested. And, you know, one thing led to another. We started doing the show, but we always thought that The Couple was going to be super, super niche. Like, we're like, it's only going to be like this small segment of people who even get it. And we didn't care because we just loved the idea ourselves and we wanted to do it. And we knew that it wasn't going to be at great risk because it was a very simple concept that we could do with the finances that we had. And it ended up being the complete opposite. It ended up being this thing so universal to people really all over the world. Someone in Africa, I don't know which country, but someone was just telling us that a friend of his, you know, from Africa was like, oh, I know The Couple, and yeah, maybe it was South Africa, and just saying that he knows The Couple, and that even that cross-cultural, because though, you know, we're all Black, there are major cultural differences between Black people all over the world, and there's that cross-cultural dynamic of them getting The Couple. So, you know, when an HBO executive ran across it on YouTube, this is a Jewish person who completely related to my character in particular, and just felt like, you know, she's a Jewish woman.
Same people.
Like, related to Chick, you know, and just felt like it needed to be seen and something needed to be developed further. So we're still in the process of that, but none of that came through pitching. We were not thinking about pitching The Couple somewhere. We were getting ready to make a film, and we were very excited about this film. And to this day, I feel like if we do the film will be very successful, you know, but we're in the middle of working with HBO right now, so that's become the priority for that show. But Black and Sexy TV is still the umbrella for everything.
Well, that is awesome. Now, in terms of actually expanding the brand, you guys have films, TV shows, talk shows, and also music. How do you guys decide how you want to diversify your content, and what is the strategy on diversifying that content?
Well, it's funny because it's a discussion we're having now. I mean, for the most part, if it's something that really speaks to us and we get excited about it, then that's something that we give the green light. That's just really the simple ingredient. We want to expand more and more. We also want to keep things under our belt and go slow. You know what I mean? And so we're creative people, and we're also business people. So the creative side of us gets bored a lot of times. We want to try something new. So a lot of times those things come out of that. But right now we're really trying to figure out, we have a lot of things sitting in our can. Like there's so many things that are happening right now, but there's only so many of us, and so we're trying to figure out how structurally we can execute all these grand ideas we have in our entire lifetime, so it's kind of where we're currently at.
And it's also really, we're also in this very kind of intimate relationship with our audience. And no matter how big they grow, that's something that we always seek to have. So we listen to them. We listen to what their needs are, what they want, what they've responded to, and between what we love and what they love, there's kind of something meets in the middle, and we make decisions like that too.
Okay. And Kevin, I know you had a question.
Yeah, I want to know, what were your backgrounds before you started Black and Sexy Television? Did you both come from an entertainment environment?
Here you go.
Beauty first. All right. So
yes.
Basically, I'm an independent filmmaker. But I really started in music. I really thought I was going to be a music producer, but film is more glamorous. You can encompass all that. So I sort of just went to film school, hung out, and made a couple films, and that's my background. I never really got into Hollywood so much because I think I personally live on the fringe of Hollywood. I don't quite fit in as well. I'm not disposing or being as social, so it never really worked out for me. So this is the natural extension, I think, of I always felt more like an entrepreneur. I felt more like I want to be my own boss. I want to be running a company, not like trying to get a job, or trying to get a job for a director as a movie. I just kind of knew that I tried it, I got pretty close, but it wasn't for me. So that's kind of my background and sort of my trajectory.
What clues were being dropped to let you know that you guys had a product that could
sell?
Yeah.
I think A Good Day Black and Sexy, that's it. Because, once it was released, we went to Sundance with it. It was a great success. We released it. We got a distributor. It's like, okay, that's a fee. Fine. Still independent film. It didn't do what we wanted to do, but then Showtime licensed it. More people started to see it. We saw the audience kept growing, and we harnessed a lot of that audience. When it's on Showtime and you see the URL, gooddayblackandsexy.com or whatever, we would just redirect that to our YouTube page or some kind of catch-all so we can keep getting that, growing that audience. That's how we really started off, being able to get a short foot or get ahead of the game. But for us, I think just knowing that I think Numa kind of spoke to it, knowing that film was a cult sort of hit, that we knew we had more stories in us that spoke to that same sensibility. So I think from there, once we did The Number and The Couple, we put those first 2 episodes online and we saw the response to that, which is so great about YouTube. You're able to see instant response. You understand exactly what you have. Everything's public. You're putting yourself out there, and then you get hungry for more, because even if no one's paying you money at the time, they're patting you on the back with comments and likes and give me more. So you feel motivated to do more, just because, hey, as a filmmaker, any kind of artist, you just want an audience, so that audience developed right away with our first releases. And so we knew we had something, hot, and we felt,
And in terms of, I know that I saw that you guys did crowdfunding, but you guys weren't really happy with that return on investment. How did you guys get to the level where you are now, where people actually pay to watch, the season finales and things of that nature? What was the actual business model that you set in place to actually get monetized this brand?
Well, we weren't unhappy with any of our crowdfunding results. We're always very successful. And had fun on those campaigns. We just knew that it was time to roll this over into something that we could actually create a portfolio out of, and actually take to an investor if we wanted to. and something beyond just, okay, these are donations. We really wanted to kind of cultivate a new relationship with our audience, which is we have a product and this is the value on it, and so there will be this exchange for it. So so it was just really more, we like to kind of say we kind of graduated from crowdfunding. And, you know, we learned a lot about who we were, who our team was, who our audience was through going through these 30-day campaigns.
What did you learn about your audience doing these campaigns? Aside from their dedication and their support, do they actually help with creating the content? Do you guys use their voice when, you know, expanding characters and things of that nature?
No, we do listen. You know, we listen to the pulse of what's going on. You have to have a nose, and that's not really necessarily something you can learn, but if you have it, you can definitely strengthen it, you can cultivate it further, and you can balance it with what you hear from the audience, but they're not creating any of the content with us. But, you know, what do we learn from our audience? I mean, you get all kinds of information when you do a crowdfunding campaign. So you learn, you know, where they live, you learn how old they are, you know, and then from there, we would do further surveys and just to, you know, get into their heads a little bit more and see, you know, who in our company reflects the audience. And so in our company, you know, we have, you know, several people who reflect the audience. And so we're able to even use ourselves as our own focus group sometimes. But yeah, you get, you know, your little analytics from them. So it's cool to know that we have a really large fan base in New York City, you know, specifically the Brooklyn area. We already knew that from A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy. We had a really huge screening. We had
Shout
a
out
huge
to Brooklyn. We both live in Brooklyn.
Yeah, 2008. I guess it was late 2008, late in the year. We did a screening in Brooklyn of A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy, and we had to open up a second theater, and we just knew that we had like something in Brooklyn. And now, you know, fast forward to 2015, you know, we go to Brooklyn and, you know, no one's mobbing us or anything like that, but we're well recognized.
She's recognized. I'm not.
He's
like,
recognized.
He's recognized. You can't walk down the street without somebody going, Numa, Numa.
Are you guys planning on filming anything in the New York area?
Yeah, we're looking. You know, we had our eyes on something in particular. We don't know how it's going to happen yet, but we'd definitely be back in New York in the near future to shoot some things. And you know, there's a lot of great talent in New York. You know, from actors to people behind the camera that we want to collab with. So it's just about the right fit, the right time. And you know, right now, Leimert Park, Los Angeles, is our base. So home first, but. Definitely, yeah, we're looking at New York, we look at Atlanta, we look at some places overseas. We have plans.
Well, in your mutual opinion, what do you think that Black and Sexy TV, what purpose do they solve that's going unresolved in the entertainment industry?
The game is to be sold, not told. Okay, we solve problems. What problem are we solving?
Well, I was trying to. What was the question?
The question they're asking us, what, you know, because it's a popular thing in business to say if you're starting a business, you should be solving a problem. I don't know if
it was a very easy answer, I think. For the most part, as an independent filmmaker, or even a filmmaker in general is trying to break into Hollywood, the problem is it's a huge wall for you to scale. You spend a lot of time trying to scale that wall, so you never become competition to that particular entity. You become a part of the cog and wheel, and maybe you'll make it, maybe you won't. You know, so for the most part, every independent filmmaker or filmmaker in general is trying to figure out how they can, sort of break in and make their own. And I think for most of us, you know, it's a very long journey or a short journey. It depends on what your sensibility is, depends on what your, you know, what your skill set is. And you spend a lot more time trying to do that kind of stuff instead of making the things that you love to do. So I think for Black and Sexy TV, what happened for us is there was a collective of us. There's 4 founders. There's myself, there's Numa, there's Janine, and there's Brian, and we're all filmmakers in different respects. And so we just collectively put together our brain trust. And since we just released our first feature film, the That Guy movie, on Christmas, it was like we literally solved distribution. We're done. You know, like it doesn't. We're not waiting for distribution. We're not trying to sell the film. If anything happens, it's great, but we don't. It's not. It's not.
We have
it's
a new
not
motto now.
It's
We have a new motto. Our motto is: we are the studio, we are the network, we are the distributor. And with our feature film, That Guy, we proved it to ourselves that not only could we create this thing, but we could distribute it.
And we can self-finance.
And then we've actually financed that movie ourselves through our company. Our company produced that film 100%. And then we turned it around and distributed that film 100%. There is no one else in our pocket.
So we cut out every middle.
You know, it's all us.
Yeah.
And so, so in a way, we solved our own problem, which is, you know, even if you get over the hurdle of getting a production company to give you money for your film or a private investor to give you money for your film, okay, you still got another problem to solve. How are you going to get it out there? You know, even if you get a distributor like Dennis did for A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy, even if you get a distributor to come to say, we love your film, we want to take it to the masses, they may not do it the way that you know it can be done because they don't know your audience. A lot of times they don't look like you, and if they do look like you, they're not trained like you. They're trained by somebody who doesn't look like you, who just doesn't get the culture. It's not about caring, it's not necessarily about racism, but it's about not understanding really the culture or just not understanding your product. If you can even take it away from being a cultural thing, you know. No one understands your product the way that you do, you know. So when we did the feature film for That Guy and were able to, you know, distribute it immediately on a holiday, do well for ourselves, have a very successful screening of it, we feel we could have done even more. It's like solved. And then we feel like now, if we solved it for ourselves as creators, now we can plug other people into the system as we see fit.
And on top of that, it's like even, you know, one of the things about trying to even have a theatrical release, which is not necessarily a profitable thing, but it is, what's good about theatrical release, it really gets your film out there for promotions, which is something that, you know, the Weinstein brothers are doing well now. And the guy who brought my film, Tom Quinn, is there now. They perfected it at Magnolia, and they're really doing it well at the Weinstein Company, where they do day and day. They release something in the theaters. It does X amount of dollars, but most of their money, their big money, is made on VOD. You know,
and even with the interview, like now, I mean, it's so funny that it took that incident to kind of incite all of this. What's so obvious to us on our side, which is just release the thing online, you know, just release it. If your audience is there, they'll be happy to partake in it, you know, if your audience is there. You know, not everyone can do that. You can't just come out of nowhere. But, you know, the people that were within that movie definitely had that audience that wanted to see it, and the thing killed. So,
and that's the thing about, we just love the fact we have flexibility. We also know that if you want to do a theatrical release, there's partners that we can partner with very easily, and we can very easily prove the case that we can promote it just like within our scope as an independent, just like a TV network could do. We can get word out about any movie that's coming out in select cities very easily through our network and our regular shows that are already going. So we're creating an ecosystem or sort of a world that anything can happen, as you're saying, to be music, film, TV, books, digital, whatever it is. We're able to leverage everything that we have and support everything together and keep building that brand so that it's unlimited. You're not really limited by looking for someone else to tell you what you can and cannot do. You can do it yourself. You know, and even just like it harks back to like independent music, like hip hop selling out the trunk of your car. So many people have made a lot of money selling less records, but they kept all the money themselves. You know, so it's no different. It's just literally just going direct to audience. You know, whether you're on the streets or now we're able to digitally reach people all over the world. And it's amazing how the community has been built, and it's really about a community. You know, so. I don't know, we got off topic.
No, it's all good stuff. And just to go further, you guys have done your first film. How many other films are you guys planning actually on doing?
We have 2 more for this year.
2 more for this year. But we want to do
Friends.
Yeah.
Roomy Lover coming soon, and the sequel to A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy.
Yeah.
So we're really
okay.
I mean, you know, we smile big about. I'm smiling big about it because you know, Dennis is a very fine filmmaker, and I think his voice is really important to be out there. I don't think that there is a voice like his out there. So for A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy, part 2 to come out, I think it's going to be huge for all of us, be very satisfying. So, and then for Roomy Lover Friends, the audience is really excited about seeing what happens next. We just feel like it's ready to go into a longer format, so people can really settle in, get their wine, get their popcorn, really, get their meal, really find out what happens next in the stories. So, yeah, we're ready for it. And then we have a lot of, new series, coming out this year as well.
What are the new series? Can you talk a little bit about the series that you guys have coming out?
Well,
briefly, we're excited about a new show called Sexless, which is about 4 friends, 2 are virgins and 2 are trying to be celibate. And so, but they're also still trying to date and make sense of their lives, and they're young women. And we have a table read for that tonight. We're going into production this weekend, and it will debut on Valentine's Day. So that's one thing we have coming. We're excited because it's an ensemble piece. It'll be our first of that. 4 women together doing their thing. So. And then we have some other things. I won't rattle off everything, but there's a lot of things coming up. But that's what's next on deck.
The number's coming back too, by the way.
Okay. The number reboot.
We're gonna reboot that. So.
I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you had said earlier about the world that you're creating. A lot of your characters from other shows show up in other shows, so I wanted to know if there's some sort of relatability, or does one character affect another program later on?
Yes, it's more in progress. We don't necessarily plan ahead and saying when this happens, it's going to affect this. We're very organic and rolling out. But we open up the landscape in a way. When we think of a new series, we figure out how it fits in the world, its own world internally, and then how it fits in the sort of the global world of Black and Sexy. So we were just talking about that actually about Sexless, right? I forgot what it was, but something about something.
No, I remember, but I don't want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't say.
We can't say because I'm trying to.
You can tell us later. Just tell us later. We'll call you guys.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a story we like to tell about how that all happened. Was we had the number on deck and we had the couple on deck, and we hadn't officially released anything for Black and Sexy TV yet. This was in 2011, and Dennis and I got into a pretty heated debate about it because he wanted the number to go first because he created the number and that show's like his baby. And I wanted the couple to go first because I'm starring in the couple, right?
Only non-biased.
But that really was not my only reason. But I just go ahead and say that's why I have it. Business-wise, I thought we should really start with the couple. I thought that made more sense. But we were arguing about it. So we couldn't agree, and he was yelling at me and I was yelling at him. It was just a mess. And at some point, we just had the epiphany that why can't they both come out at the same time? Why don't they just be at the same party? And then we said, well, why don't we make it so the woman in the number used to date chick's boyfriend, and that they're at this party, and then the whole thing, we were just like high-fiving and everything, and we weren't fighting anymore. So, that kind of taught us 2 things. One is like, all of our fights eventually do break through to something better. So we try to, be steadfast through that. And also that, real life connects in ways that you don't anticipate. And what if the Black and Sexy universe was also like that? Sometimes people know they know the same people. Sometimes people don't know. Sometimes people find out later. And you've still got your own story going on in your own life, but you're connected to somebody who you may or may not know. They've got their own thing going on in their, So we thought it would be interesting to kind of mirror that. But it all started from a silly fight.
Now, in that fight, you wanted well, one of the reasons you wanted the couple to come out is because you were actually in it. Now, what other acting opportunities outside of Black and Sexy TV have you engaged in, or are you looking to do other things outside of you guys' brand?
Yeah, whenever it lines up with what I want to do is great, and it's great that if there is something that I want to act in that makes sense for the network, then it can be part of the network. It's like win-win all the way around. But I think a lot of our actors have experienced this, and I definitely experienced it as well. Being in the couple, I received a lot of offers for films, some of which I'll be doing, and TV work as well. Casting directors bringing me in because they're fans of the show. So yeah, what's really great about it, and I just saw this, funny, I just saw Lena Dunham quote about this on the cover of Elle magazine. I just saw this. She said that she's something to the effect of she's free because she started this job being herself. And with the couple, it was really one of the first, if not the first, role that I had where I didn't feel like I had to fit into something that which just was not working for me as an actress. It was the first time I could really, mold into something that could really come from me in a real way and really pull from my own life and then create more of a character out of that, so any time, Black and Sexy has set me up to be able to do that, because we're going to either do it here or I'm going to line up with another filmmaker and do it there. So I'm doing a film now where I'm playing a vampire, a really cool experimental film, exactly the kind of work I want to do. And there's other stuff, upcoming. But yeah, I think it all is because I was able to be in the couple and people are able to see me for who I am, and then they're able to imagine me as even more after that. And I think a lot of our actors have that experience. So we're happy, and I'm happy that happens on our network.
That's awesome. We actually are getting a lot of love right now on Twitter, so I want to see if we can take a couple of Twitter questions. We have one now from Mainstream Beauty, but
we just saw that too. We just looked at it. So
okay, so she wants to know when will Black and Sexy TV implement the subscription model, the flat rate, monthly, and/or annual or tiered membership.
All right, let's talk about that because this is a Black enterprise.
That's right.
Okay, and we saw something else. We thought you were going to say something else, but let's talk about the business. Yes, our monthly subscription model. Which month are we aiming for? We were aiming for February, but it looks like it's going to be March now. The reason is when we launch it, we want to be sure that we have it packaged in a way that all of you out there who are so eager to give us money every month are really, really satisfied with it. Because we could start it now. We are considering doing a soft launch in February because it would make sense in some ways, but we kind of want to maybe skip the soft launch and just go full blown on it. So, but look for it, no later than the end of the spring, but we're really shooting for March. So just, start putting your money aside now. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and like everything else we do, we're gonna take it in steps.
Okay.
So, we'll launch it and then we'll adjust as we go along.
Awesome. And in terms of supporting other artists, do you guys have any ways that you guys give back to the community? Do you teach any workshops or have any classes that you guys plan on doing or have done in the past?
Just kidding.
No, we're pretty selfish now.
Oh,
no, it's happening.
Honest about it.
No, I think for the most part, someone asked us this. They had a panel the other day.
We're always on panels now.
Someone asked you the same question. I said majority of the time, I think what it is we're pretty open as a community and a family. We bring people into the family pretty easily if they're really willing to. So I think the best way to learn is not to go and have a workshop or something like that. It's best way to be sort of ingested into the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really more of a family sort of environment. We're not really like corporate structured as far as the business. And so that's pretty much how it is, because most people say, hey, everybody wants to learn something. I say, well, if you really want to learn something, you're not going to learn anything in an hour for me to sit down. So you might as well just come in And you might as well be a fly on the wall. You might as well come help us out too, so we get something out of it too. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how we.
It's an exchange program, but we're really good about promoting from within. We have Tina, who should come wave and say hi.
Come wave, Tina.
You know, and Tina started out with us 2 years ago now.
Is it 2 years?
As she came in as a very unpaid intern, super unpaid, but she came in with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of prior knowledge of our work and the brand, and her own talents and sensibilities, and she came in and stayed the course, like dealt with us and our personalities, mine especially, and just stayed and has really risen through the ranks, and it was the producer on the That Guy movie, and is a great editor, is editing for the company now, for Becoming Nia.
But it had no prior experience. That's the thing. She learned it all here. She knew she had the attraction for it. She knew she had the sensibility for it, but never really had the exposure or the experience. And so just being here, soaking it in, and having the opportunity and speaking up, when it's like, I want to try that. I want to do that, right?
And would do that with so-called background actors, too. So it's like anyone that really kind of walks through our doors, comes through our headquarters, can go from being a background actor to getting their own show. I mean, Austin did that. He was coming in, doing background stuff for her and for us, and I had known him and been in a play with him previously, but we didn't have a role for him yet. And it eventually, went from that to being, a recurring guest star on Room 11 Friends. Then he got his own series, Yellow, and now he's on every show. You'll see him in Sexless, So, spoiler alert, you'll see Austin in Sexless. But, so giving workshops we're not opposed to, but we are like crazy busy. We do sit on panels, but we definitely kind of have I guess it's like almost a work, what do they call that? A work study. It's almost like a work study type of thing it's informal, but that does happen here.
Okay. And Mainstream Butte also asks, did the idea for Sexless come about from the Minuteman debate?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Let me get the first.
You get in.
So the original idea came from Leah Williams, who actually was, what was her?
She was playing Sister Mary on
Awkward Black Girl. So that Issa Rae camp sent her to us because she had this idea about being in an adult version or an older version, mid-20s or whatnot. And we tend to finance stuff. They don't really finance anything, so it made sense to come to us. And it took a couple times to come around and try to figure out what we could do and how we could work with Leah. In the meantime, we released this Minuteman, Would You Date a Virgin, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was really put us a lot of hot water. It was we just let men talk like they really should talk, and people felt like they shouldn't say the things.
We told the audience, Minuteman, men are going to say what men say, and it was rough. It was rough.
But we didn't realize how much how virgins were in our audience. We didn't understand it.
Apparently, there's a lot of virgins who love black and sexy TV. We just thought that was cool. Shout out to the virgins.
Shout out to the virgins. Thank you, Essence.
So we got hip to the game a little bit, and we're like, okay, there's something there, and they're very vocal, very
passionate, very passionate virgins.
Very passionate. We were like, all right. So basically, Leah came back around and was checking in and seeing we were interested in her series. And we just had the ideas, like we would think of an ensemble piece, really, we think would be, more interesting. We'd be able to get more stories in than just one, and so that's how that thing started to develop. So it was those two things coming together.
Yeah.
So yes.
Definitely listening to the audience, many audience members piping up and saying, I guess feeling like they didn't have a voice in that conversation. A lot of them are like, I would have just really appreciated if there were another opinion. Just because I'm almost 30 and a virgin does not mean that I'm crazy, et cetera, et cetera. Or just because I'm 22 and a virgin doesn't mean whatever. They felt like they didn't really have a voice in that conversation. So here we are with a series where we hope that it kind of gives some people the feeling of having a voice in that conversation, that you can be a virgin, you know, at a younger age or somewhat of an older age and still be trying to date. And what is that life like, you know, or what is it like if maybe you're not a virgin but you're trying to slow down for whatever reason, you know, or come to a screeching halt, you know, because you just need to, you know, maybe just like put things in check for a minute. Like, you know, what is the story of that woman? And this is what we love, 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 exploring sexual politics. That's what the film did. That's what we will always do, because it's fun, it's interesting, and it makes us human. So we'll
You
always
guys
do that.
definitely have a very vocal audience. We got a tweet the other day about sign a petition because you left them with a cliffhanger, and they said we want more. They cannot do this to us, and I was like, okay. I'm sorry, but that just also just shows how well received your brand is and your product offerings are. The next question we actually have, I have another one from someone on Twitter. But what advice would you give to your younger self? What things did you learn now that you wish you learned?
You meant the teenager?
No, was a teenager.
I don't know. I mean, that's always a question, you know. What would you do?
I have one.
He has one.
Just don't listen to other people. Listen to yourself. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it really is true. I think for my younger self, it's not even about listening. It's just worrying what other people are thinking and trying to join the crowd and just kind of realize, I mean, we're in a great time right now, especially with the explosion of just like digital media and being able to go direct to audience to even people who are established, like Louis C.K. or whatnot, are going direct to audience. That the world of Hollywood, like I knew I was going to be in entertainment, but the world of Hollywood is changing. We've noticed, even we're talking about Charles King from William Morris, who's like a really big black agent here out in LA, left William Morris to start his own multimedia company. You know, it's like everybody, like Hollywood is not the same anymore. So really striking out and doing your own thing and being your own man or woman is the advice I would give myself younger, just to get started earlier instead of chasing down something. You know, really being chased is more of is a better position, you know?
Yeah.
And definitely.
And me? No, I mean, I think it's just, I would say something to the effect of, you know, it's okay to be on the fringe. You know, I think there's always, you know, a part of me that's kind of sort of always known that, but not really. And so now I really, really know that. And I think in my early days of moving to LA, I sort of knew that, but then I got really confused, especially, you know, going into a lot of different types of auditions and really being told kind of very, very bluntly from people, you know, how I should even wear my eyebrows, you know, like down to the details, you know, this is what you should look like and how much you should weigh and what you should be. And part of that is true and part of that doesn't have to be true for me, you know. So yeah, I think I would just say something like that something I learned along the way, which is everybody has a different ticket to the party. It's a different entry point here for everybody. It's just figure out who you are and what makes sense for you. And there is a way for you to create, and there is a way for you to tap into who would receive you. You know, everybody likes different type of tea. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fine. There's always an audience for something that you do. So
I love myself.
That's good. That's good.
We love ourselves too. We do.
You do?
Official Jim Crow wants to know, he might not have missed.
I'm afraid.
Do you guys take interns?
What did we just say? That must be an old question, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you local? A few questions for you first, Jim Crow.
We do.
You know, we do satellite interns, but depends on. Here's the thing about being an intern with us: you need to be specific about what your skill sets are and what you can bring. You're probably not going to get an answer or a slow answer or not the answer you want to hear if you're just in general saying, I just want to help. It's like that's never true, because if we say do this, you're like, well, I actually don't know how to do that, or actually that's not really what I want to do. It's not going to work. Be really specific and clear about, as an intern, what is it you're trying to learn, or what is it that you can do to help, and then there's usually a way we can find a place for you then.
We do have one woman, Cheryl, who manages our intern intake. And it's just email the information that Numa just said, be specific in a letter, possibly a resume that makes sense for you, to interns@blackandsexy.tv.
Awesome. And then we have a question from Baby Cakes Inc. What's the best way for a new web series to build and cultivate an audience?
I can.
What do you want to say?
Did you want to say something?
No, what do you want to say?
I want to say a lot.
Say.
Okay.
Say what you want to say.
You know what? I just spoke about this the other day, so I feel like it's the same answer. You literally just need to identify what you do well, not try to do something that you think needs to be done, or something that's not on TV because Black people haven't done it. You just need to do that works for you, that you're going to be able to do best. That's the first thing, and you have the energy. And the second thing is keeping it under your belt. The more money you spend, the less people care.
Mm-hmm.
So you want something fresh, you want something that you can sustain, you want something that has good energy. You notice the things that take off are the simplest things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just keep those simple things in mind, and then you'll be able to know who your audience is, and that you're able to reach them and be your voice.
So not told.
I mean, not everybody can do this. You can tell, you can talk about it, but not everybody's going to really be able to manifest that.
Yeah, part of it is a little bit of magic mixed in there, but that's true.
Yeah, and then as far as an audience, you just have to literally just start small. Like when we started Black and Sexy, we had 7 subscribers, and that was friends of mine.
Yeah, it was like me, Dennis, and then 5 other people. I don't know, but people get so frustrated, I think, because especially I think in like the advent of Awkward Black Girl, people really thought that like Issa came out of nowhere and made that thing and then raised over $50,000 on Kickstarter. That is not true. I'm not here to speak for Issa, but I know that she did several web series before that. She's been in this game a long time. She's been creating, been trying to figure out her ticket to the party. She's a talented actress. She's trying to figure out, what she could do for herself, and she did not come out of nowhere. And I think that people think, well, if I do this thing, or if I throw a lot of money at it, and I put it out there, or even if I, put it on someone who has a big name network, or if I put someone who has a big name in it, that all of a sudden all these people are going to just flock to it. It doesn't work like that, and it doesn't mean that it has to take you 10 years, but you better recognize who you have and appreciate them and cultivate them and grow them. And that's what we did, from 7 to over 100,000 now. And not just a empty 100,000 plus, it's like each one of those subscribers are so valuable to us in so many ways, because they're so engaged, they're so knowledgeable, they're so progressive, and we have a relationship with them. It's not empty numbers.
I think that's important to say, because when we started off, we would email everybody in our own network from Facebook or email list. We would email each person individually. I do just a mass email. Yeah. It was grueling and it was tedious, but we would sit together.
Yeah, we would. In bed.
You would call people.
We would both have our laptops out, and it'd be like, all right, go. And Dennis would be there emailing people, and I would be emailing people one person at a time.
Just asking them to share. You're trying to start the fire. Because there's a point when the fire is starting and it just goes and it's beyond you, and the people become your promotion machine. Mm-hmm. But just starting the fire takes a lot of grueling hard work and focus, and strategic partnerships are important too. Yeah. You have to know that these are the things that I can leverage, that I have that's available to me, to whether it's me, my personal relationships, or it's the content that means I can get a leg up, because you're in a sea of a lot of people competing with you. You're competing with people's time, you're competing with other people have to do other things. So what is it that you're going to do to make them sit down and watch this, and then make them help you by sharing it with someone else because they love what you did? So it's grueling. It's really grueling. Then you got to be in it for the long run. And I think a lot of people are not in it for the long run, and that's where they give up very easily. you know, and that's not, you just have to really make a commitment. It's not easy, you know.
Gosh, guys,
Work. It's called work, is what it's called. You know,
it's a lot of hard work.
And the work goes beyond just creating the content.
Yes.
You know, the work starts before
Your
you
skill set has to
create the
be wider than
content.
that. Yeah.
It goes after you create the content, and then, you know, you're only as good as your last piece of content. So it's about how do you get better? You know, how do you get better?
Be innovative. That's it. Yeah.
Well, guys, we are coming down to a close. I have one last question for you guys. I know that in 2013, you guys won Best Web Series at ABFF, and we are actually partnered with them to produce it.
Shameless plug. Okay.
Yes,
ABFF,
yes.
We love ABFF.
So we wanted to find out for aspiring, you know, directors, filmmakers, web series, content producers, what was your experience, and why do you think someone else should actually invest in the ABFF festival?
You know what? I can tell you one thing. At first, when we were nominated, I guess, or one of the contenders for Best Web Series,
nominees are.
We were like, and then it was a voting thing. We were like, oh, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? But
we were not into that.
We're not into it.
At first.
But it engaged. It made us ignite and engage our audience. You know, obviously it served ABFF, it served ourselves, and we got out there more, did more work. And when you engage your audience becomes interactive. Then suddenly everything you're doing is more valuable within that space. So it definitely got us to really get out more again and understand that our audience loved us and loved that particular show. And
shows.
A couple too. Yeah, we had the couple and Room Love Friends were nominees at the same time. So they were both competing at the same time. Yeah.
We laugh about that. Roomy Lover Friends won, you know, but it was like win-win for me because it's like I create and write one, and I was whatever. But no, ABFF, though we weren't thrilled about it at first, it's true, it was actually really smart, you know, on their end too, because the web is about connecting people. So why would it just be a team of jurors only deciding what the best web series is? Why wouldn't we take it to the people to decide what the best or most popular, you know, web series is? And being out there at the time, you know, they were hosting it in Miami. It was great. You know, a lot of our cast was able to be there and support it. And then, you know, we were able to connect with other fans and other filmmakers. So yeah, we definitely, and it was at ABFF that we met Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of that relationship, which has really turned into something wonderful. So so it's good all around.
That was a good plug.
Yeah, it was a really good plug.
Get a check for that.
It's coming. It's coming. I feel it. It's coming. I swear.
Okay, we get our Black Enterprise every month, so you know, we're already getting that.
Yeah, it's just that cover.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're really ready to be on the cover.
You guys are ready? Okay.
Look, we're ready.
Digital boom. Power couple.
That's the shot right there.
We're ready for some younger faces to be on the cover of Black Enterprise, for real. So just send that up the pipeline, see where it lands. You know, see what they have to say about it.
What they say.
Because it's really amazing. I just read this article. I wish I knew her name. This woman, this young, beautiful Black woman in Virginia, has a kombucha company. And I'm like, someone like her, she could be on the cover too. She's just someone like, you know, it's just a lot of us out here, you know, younger, progressive, you know, Black people out here really creating a lot of great businesses. So, cover stories.
Well, you guys have put so many other amazing things out in the atmosphere, so I don't doubt that Black Enterprise cover will not come to you guys. I definitely believe that will happen for you. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Our social media is blowing up right now as well as yours, so expect more questions about how can I pitch to y'all, how can I be an intern, and all that.
How can I be a writer?
How can I be a writer? So look out for that.
Yeah, where's the producer at? We need producers.
You need producers? Okay, guys, so you hear it?
We need writers too. You know, we need content. We need a lot of things. So hit us up. You know, we are expanding. We're expanding rapidly, and yeah, this is definitely a good time to be reaching out.
Dennis, how can they contact you again?
Contact@blackandsexy.tv.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. We can't wait to Valentine's Day to see the new show, and we're ready to keep spending and sending y'all our money too because we believe in y'all. So thank you so much.
All right. Wait. Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank
much,
you,
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
And we want to thank everybody for tuning in today.
Bye.
That's why you have us.
You know,
You know? But also we want to thank everybody who took the time out today to tune in. We hope all of your questions were answered.
Everybody.
Thank you so much for all your tweets, all your responses on Google, all your responses on Instagram. We really, really appreciate it. You know you can watch this again. It's going to automatically go to YouTube. So you can just go to Black Enterprise YouTube page. It's going to be there. So take out your notebook and your pen. Send it to your friends. There's a lot of great information here that you can glean. So thank you to our wonderful audience. Thank you to our guests again, Numa and Dennis from Black and Sexy TV. Watch all of their shows. They're producing amazing content that you definitely want to not only watch for yourself, but you want to spread it to other people. So thank you guys so much again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're hanging up now. We really are.
All right. Bye.
Bye.